They say it only aired in La Crosse. Channel 6. Sundays at 7 a.m. The show was called The Smiling Program. It ran for exactly 20 years. And no one remembers it being cancelled. It looked like every other kids show back then. Felt like Candle Cove. Or a local knockoff of Captain Kangaroo. Cheap puppets. Cardboard sets. And a mascot named Mr. Grinny. A man in a red and yellow foam suit with bulging cartoon eyes. And a smile that didn't move. But here's what most people didn't know. The kids on that show weren't actors. They were test subjects. In 1984, the studio was raided by federal agents. They found the entire thing was being filmed underground. In a concrete bunker built into the Hickson Forest bluffside. The show was never supposed to exist above ground. Each child was dosed with an experimental compound before taping. Filed under a military trial called Cavendish 12. Side effects included severe insomnia, paranoia, emotional suppression, and something the records only describe as perception drift. The drugs made them stop sleeping. And eventually, they stopped reacting at all. In one episode recovered from an estate sale, a child sits completely still while a puppet next to her says, "Smiles are safer when they're sewn on." At the 14-minute mark, a voice that isn't the host or the puppets whispers, "You've been awake long enough, little subject." Then the mascot Mr. Grinny turns to the camera and begins shaking a rattle. It makes a sound that isn't mechanical. It's tonal. Layered. Like something meant to trigger a migraine. One viewer who watched the recovered footage online didn't sleep for 6 days. She was found in her backyard, rocking an empty stroller, whispering into a baby monitor. She doesn't have any children. The government claimed the show was shut down. They said everything had been destroyed. Footage, props, documents, gone. But in 2023, a man named Jeremy Hartman bought a box of tapes at an estate sale in Onalaska. No labels. Just red marker on one that said, Episode 40. The Smiling Program only had 39 recorded episodes. Officially, Jeremy digitized the tape. He uploaded it privately. Sent it to 3 friends. None of them responded. One of them, a woman named Kayla, was found 2 days later, sitting in a dark basement, eyes swollen shut, repeating the phrase, "He's behind the paper. He's behind the paper." Police reports said she'd written the same sentence on the wall over 600 times. The tape starts normal. The same grainy intro. The theme song with off-key piano. But the children are different. They're older. Not smiling. Their numbered badges are smudged. Their eyes don't blink. Mr. Grinny enters the frame. Except something is wrong with the suit. It's melting. The colors are sliding. The smile is too wide now. He sits across from a boy wearing badge number 12. And says, "Tell the people watching why you're still awake." The boy doesn't move. Not until the screen glitches. For just a second. And suddenly, he's smiling. It's forced. His cheeks are bleeding. Then the camera cuts. No transition. Just static. And suddenly, we're somewhere else. A hallway. Underground. Fluorescent lights flickering. Steel doors on either side. One opens. It leads to a pitch-black room. From inside, we hear a whisper. "You never stopped watching." That's when the footage ends. But here's the thing. The digital file Jeremy uploaded? It's gone. His computer bricked. External drives wiped. But every night at 3:33 a.m., his TV turns itself on. No input. No signal. Just a black screen. And a voice that says, "Episode 41 begins now." The program was never about education. It wasn't entertainment. It was exposure. Every episode was a dosage. Visual, auditory, chemical. And Mr. Grinny, he wasn't just a mascot. He was a carrier. According to recovered notes from a researcher named Stanton Cal, Grinny wasn't a man in a suit. He was a synthetic host built to test emotional disruption. Children who stared at his face for longer than 11 minutes experienced symptoms like hallucinations, temporary amnesia, and a compulsion to mimic facial expressions against their will. They smiled until their faces tore. And the show kept recording. Here's what the final file revealed. The lost tape labeled episode 41. The intro is gone. No theme song. Just silence. The screen shows a single empty chair. In the middle of a room with mirrored walls. On the ground, a child's badge number 00. Then the camera slowly tilts, revealing something, reflected. Mr. Grinny, standing just behind the viewer. He begins to speak. But not in words. In mouth movements. His lips form shapes you recognize, but never learned. And somehow, you understand him. He says, "If you smile back, you let me in." The screen cuts to static. Then, a live camera feed of your room. Except something is wrong. You're still in the frame. But you're not moving. And you're smiling. The feed ends. The file corrupts. And your system shuts down. That's what happened to everyone who accessed the backup. Everyone who saw episode 41. And here's the most disturbing part. There is no record of Jeremy Hartman. No estate sale. No one ever lived at the address where the tapes were found. But the broadcast signal? It still pings. Every Sunday. At 7 a.m. Just outside of Crosse. No carrier. No station. Just a repeating message. It's time to smile again.